making plays. Y'all know where to find me, you be looking center stage. 24/7, we ain't never taking breaks. Got a lot to learn, think you better know the game. Yeah, y'all done lit the match. Finally got the belt, now I think I'll give it back. At 24/7 grind, put me on the map. I think you probably should try to study how I move, that's a fact. Yeah, y'all lit the match. I got the belt and I ain't gon' give it back. Yeah, y'all lit the match. I got the belt and I ain't gon' give it back. Yeah, I'm making play. And I can do this all day, you know I'm making play. Yeah, I'm making play. And I can do this all day, you know I'm making play. To the bank, yeah, they call me Showtime, y'all know who to thank. Got the pressure on, gotta do this real big, no thing. I'ma get the dub, what do y'all think? Yeah, I'm making plays, y'all know where to find me, you be looking center stage. 24/7, we ain't never taking breaks. Got a lot to learn, think you better know the game, cause I've been making plays. Yeah, I'm making plays. I can do this all day, you know I've been making plays. Yeah, I'm making plays. And I can do this all day, you know I've been making plays. Wait for it all, yeah, the winner takes all. Aim for it all, yeah, the winner takes all. Winner takes all, winner takes all. 'Cause I've been making plays. Better know the game. 'Cause I've been making plays. Better know the game. Yeah, I'm making plays. And I can do this all day, you know I've been making plays. Yeah, I'm making plays. And I can do this all day, you know I've been making plays.
Dun, 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 dun. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Bum, 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 bum. Ooh, what's up, party people of the AACL, the All-American Collegiate League? What's going on? What's happening? What the motherfuck is cracking? What's going on? Glad to see everybody starting to pour in here tonight. We'll give a couple more minutes for people to kind of pile in here. But let me tell you what we got going on. This is the AACL Season 2 awards show. We have 12 awards to give away. The best player or players at each position group. We've got Broadcasters of the Year. We got School of the Year. We've got the Defensive Player of the Year. And we've also got the Rodney Dangerfield Award. So 12 awards in all, 19 recipients, and I believe 10 or 11 schools are represented. There's a couple schools that didn't get anybody in, but, you know, that's the way it is. But that's not too bad. That's still, what, 80, 90%-ish. Something like that. Before we get crazy started on stuff, let me check it out, y'all. Let me see who is in the chat tonight. And actually, let me also make sure I don't fuck anything up here. I'm going to be super anal about not fucking anything up and not giving anything away ahead of time. Does my mic sound good? I turned it up just a tad. But if you think it's too loud, let me know in the chat. Otherwise, it looks like Crazy Canuck was here 69 minutes early again, like he was last night. The lovely, amazing Pink Lisa was here 5 minutes early, followed up by Michaela. And then Dave Axis is in the house. Stuart Zomelia, Bob Funk, Nate Hall, Lil Cy. Lil Cy, where you been, bro? I haven't seen you in a minute. Gunny's here, Bob Funk, Nate Hall, Mac Dre. What's up? Congrats, by the way, in case you hadn't heard or seen. I don't think there's been any announcements made. They will probably be made this weekend or on Monday. But Mac Dre will be joining the staff at Missouri. We'll be announcing more staff positions here over the weekend or by Monday. I think I mentioned a couple last night, but I didn't remember them all. Ron Haynes, what's up? Congrats on your poker chip win last night. A little luck of the draw, baby. Little luck of the draw. You got your little poker chip. That's cool. Once we get the stores and stuff online, I have another meeting tomorrow during the day with Trick Jerseys to see where we're at and see when we can get the store online and get things going. So hopefully that'll be pretty soon. I'm also working with a mini helmet company to see if we can get maybe some mini helmets. I know I talked about that months ago, but it just kind of got lost in the shuffle with everything else. So we'll talk about that as well. Let me see. Anybody else jump in, or is that about it? There's about 20 of you in here. That's not bad. Gunny saying, Dave, could you ask Michaela the name and location of her grocery store? She will understand. Michaela is actually in the booth with me, the only AD that's joined me so far. We will probably have different ADs and people jumping in and out of the booth throughout the night. Michaela, welcome to the program. How are you doing tonight?
Doing all right. And Gunny, no.
Okay, what is that all about? Garrison Blue, what's up? Wait a minute. There's a Frank the Franchise Wade sighting in our chat. What? I guess, that once, twice a year, whether you need it or not, I guess. Frank, what's up, bro? You coming here to support your crew, see if any of them are going to win some awards tonight, I guess. Michaela, what is the Gunny question all about?
It's because I asked him if he could send some warm weather up here to Iowa because it's currently it's freezing outside and we're getting more snow, and I had mentioned how we've gotten an influx of orders at my grocery store, and then he's like, I'm just gonna call randomly and place or ask about random items. I'm just like, no.
Attaboy, Gunny, when you get a chance, go ahead and post that phone number in the announcements channel. We'll all start blowing that shit up. That'll be fun. No. All right, Michaela, let me ask you this, since you're the only one in here with me so far. You saw the 12 categories for tonight's awards ceremonies. You have anything that sticks out to you? Any favorites? Anybody you pretty sure that's going to win something? Anything like that?
Well, considering how, as he joins the booth, Auburn's success over the season, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a big sellout for the Rodney Dangerfield Award. That it's for sure going to go to Pink Lisa.
That's a good call. That could possibly happen. Speaking of Auburn, Justin Duke just jumped into the booth. Justin Duke in the house. Justin, what's up, bro?
Oh, not much, man. Baseball starting up, getting the kid home from baseball. We're celebrating with champagne tonight. We got the bottles ready to be popped for when Lisa wins her award, and I'm sure she won't be the only Tiger to win something.
Okay, I'm going to ask you the same question and try not to be too biased, but outside of Auburn, what are you looking to see tonight, or do you think there's any obvious choices other than what you just said?
I think there is a extremely obvious choice, at least in my opinion. For Defensive Player of the Year.
And who is that?
I think the ladies are going to sweep the big name trophies, and I believe that Miss Foraker is going to be the Defensive Player of the Year.
Very interesting take there. Hey, for those of you, Corey, what's up, bro? Good to see you. Your brother just DM'd me. Apparently, he's on date night with the wife. What is up with that? I mean, dude, tell your brother to get his fucking priorities straight. Obviously, AACL comes before, wife, marriage, family, religion, any of that shit. I mean, should we not know that by now? I don't understand how many times I have to beat this into your guys' heads. But basically, Corey, good to see at least half the mentors here. Good to see you, bro. Here's the interesting thing. I had some people reach out to me about the school of the season. But here's the thing you need to know about that particular award. School of the season just doesn't mean wins on the field. I didn't say team of the season. It's school of the season. There are lots of criteria when it comes to school of the season. We'll talk about that when we get to that award. But Duke, Michaela, appreciate you being here. I don't know how long each of you can be here, but as long as you're here, I'll probably call on you. I think the first award of the night. Oh, actually, let me say this first. There's something else I wanted to mention. For those of you listening, there were 13 votes for every single category. Every single AD voted for every single category. So anything that had that required one winner had 13 votes. Everything that required two winners had 26 votes. Every single AD came through. and voted on every single thing. So this is a complete, comprehensive vote for these awards. So I feel very confident in what we've put together here tonight. Gunny in the chat saying the Menor sent me cran order. Yeah, dude, Corey and Bush, they got some kind of thing about the whole Marine cran thing, bro. I don't know what it is. I think they just wish they were Marines. Hey yo. All right. Hey-o. That's what. Hey, you know we need a soundboard with Gunny. We need a soundboard with the Marines hymn. All right. I don't know what happened, but we just lost like half our viewers. What happened here? All right. What do you guys think about this? I've come up with the order for tonight. Duke, Michaela. And obviously, I want to save some of the bigger awards for later, but I kind of wanted to come out the box with a pretty big award. So I'm going to start with top running back of the season.
I mean, I think that's a safe bet.
So before we get to the award, let me do this. Yay, crazy kid, like, yeah, the ADs voted. Sorry, Michaela, we probably should talk before. Hold on one second. I'm going to ask you guys first. Top running backs of the season. This is how I'm going to do it. So I'm going to hit the little button for the little thing to come up. Then we'll talk, and then then you can do the drum roll. Then I'll do the winner. How about that? This is what happens when we don't plan ahead. Duke, I'll go to you first. Running back of the year. Who are some of the running backs that are in contention according to you?
That's a really good one. I think Swifty, right? Swifty was a name. Hey, gotta get Swifty in here.
Okay, so Swifty's one. What about one more, real quick, before I go to Michaela?
I know his numbers weren't flashy, and it's hard not to be a little bit biased. But when I needed him, Fox was there.
Yeah, okay.
He didn't have any crazy stats, but if you watch the games, and I know most of the ADs did, when we were in a rough situation where we needed something, that man came through.
All right, so Duke is saying Fox or maybe Swifty. Michaela, who are you thinking
I'm leaning
here?
Swifty.
You're leaning Swifty? Okay, Michaela, who are you leaning?
I personally, I know who I voted for, but being unbiased, I have to go again with Jaden Swift. Very productive throughout the season and all that. If I had to choose a second one, I don't really want to show too much bias. I might have to go Andrew Neville, though.
This is the problem. Neville did pretty well, believe it or not. Here's one more thing, real quick, just so you guys know. I didn't tell the ADs this when they voted. However, if the vote came back and the person was no longer in the server, if they left the server, they were what do you call it? Eliminated, disqualified. There you go. They were disqualified. So, and we're going to talk about one of those in a minute because there is somebody who should have won an award, but they left the server, so they're not getting it. And we moved on to the next person. For this particular case, in the running back situation, Andrew Neville has left, but he didn't win anyway, so that's okay. So there's a little spoiler for you. Trey Deuce had left, Jalen Jones, and Nancy Vicious.
If I had to choose a different one than Andrew Neville, then I would for sure go for Brute Bandit.
All right, folks, here we go. So
I was just say, I'll back you up on that. Brute's a great choice.
Brute's a good choice too. Okay. All right. So real quick, we're gonna drag this out on the first one just so we get the system down. So normally I'm gonna do this first. Then we're gonna talk about it for a minute, like we just did. Then Michaela's gonna hit the drum roll. And there is your winner for top running back of the season in season 2 in the AACL. Your winner is Brute Bandit. Brute Bandit, let me see how he did. He took home almost 50% of the vote. Neville was a close second, with Jaden and Tony Ava bringing up the rear. Duke, let me go to you first. Surprised at all that Brute not only won it, but maybe won it with so many votes?
No, I mean, if you break it down, if we talk about what you're looking for here, stat-wise, He was a complete running back. Uh, over 1,000 yards, over 200 carries, 5 tutties. Uh, had a just a really good, strong year. One fumble marred his season, but all in all, if you break 1,000 yards in a season like this, then I mean, I think you have to give a nod and say, hey, look, that dude's pretty good.
Agreed. Agreed. Michaela, what do you think about the Brute Bandit winning with such a? He got 9, 12. Yeah, he got about half the votes.
Dang. Okay. It is very well deserved for him. Always put in the work. I mean, I obviously got to benefit from it for all those wins. So I'm happy to see my teammate win.
Right. Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. Okay. Let's move on to. We're gonna move on to top defensive line person of the season. These two people win this award. We're gonna go back and forth between offense and defense, kind of mix it up a little bit. But we have two top defensive line people to win this award. All right, Michaela, I'll go to you first this time. Defensive line. There were actually a lot of great defensive tackles and defensive ends in this league this season. Who are a couple of your favorites here for defensive line person of the season?
I gotta go with, again, bias is coming in. Alex Roy. He led the league in tackles for losses, sacks, and he was tied for the lead out of all the defensive linemen for deflections as well.
Mm.
So he was very integral part of that LSU defense. And then I guess for my other end, I would have to go with Brookie Burr.
Mm.
She was among the top for those tackles, sacks, and all that. She also had the most forced fumbles out of all the players on the line, and she also received 2 players of the game.
Ooh,
And then
okay.
her counterpart of the week, or her counterpart on the same team, has gotten player of the week before, but Rookie Burr just had slightly better stats all around, in my opinion.
Okay. Duke, what do you think here? Defensive line.
See, I have to go. I have to agree. I think Alex Roy led the league in tackles and sacks. That's a really big deal for defensive linemen. I think if you go after that, it kind of gets a little convoluted. But I think as much as it pains me to say it, I have to go with Michaela on this. Burr is the next one. I mean, she spot on these.
Yeah, I would say both Illinois defensive ends were pretty. I think they had 25, 26 sacks between them. Somebody that nobody's talking about, Peter McLongfellow, tied for the league or tied for second. I'm sorry, in sacks this season, and he was defensive player of the game a few times as well. So, Michaela, let's hit the drum roll and let's see who wins defensive line of the season.
Nailed that one.
And there it is. You're right. Alex Roy and Brooke Burr. Both of you guys. Obviously, no surprises from either one of you. But are there any surprises? Let me tell you if you're surprised by the voting. On the defensive line, Alex Roy, out of 26 votes, 11. Brookie Burr got 8. And then the next person was P. Fedor with 4. And then Alex Evans, Trevor Dunn, and Peter McLongfellow only 1 apiece. I was a little surprised by the McLongfellow vote. Do any of those numbers surprise you at all, Michaela?
No, because being a part of the AD's lounge, I get a little bit of an insight of what's going on. And I know we were told to focus on the stats, and just based on the stats, they were among two of the top producing defensive ends. So they
were. Yeah.
They spoke for themselves.
Yeah. Duke, what about you?
I have to agree. I think that when you just break it down to stats, statistically speaking, Burr edges out Longfellow with 8 more tackles, same tackle for loss, same sacks, 1 more forced fumble, another deflection. So I think Roy is the obvious. I mean, I don't think you can say anything different. Roy is the one, and then it comes down to picking hairs between the rest of them. And Bird just had a couple more stats that stood out.
Yeah. Also, let me just clarify something that Michaela just said. The stats were heavily involved, but also in the AD Lounge post, it also talks about the eye test, the impact they had on certain plays, games, and on their team, players of the week and players of the game numbers. So it was a comprehensive thing, or at least was supposed to be a comprehensive thing. But I mean, let's be honest. At the end of the day, stats rule, right? If you have the most sacks and the most tackles and all that stuff, you're gonna get the votes at the end of the day. That's it. All right, so we got 2 down with 10 to go. Numbers fluctuating in the chat. People coming and going. I guess some people see their award and they're just like, peace out. Let's go. The third one here. This is gonna be interesting. All right. Here's the third award for the night. This is what we're gonna do for the third one. We're gonna go tight end next on the offensive side. Duke, on the tight end side of the ball, or on the offensive side of the ball at tight end, who do you see as the best tight end or the top tight end in the AACL for season 2?
I don't think you can argue this one at any stretch of the imagination. Florida's Aacl Becker with 59 catches for 775 yards, a full 300 yards better than his next guy. I mean, 59 targets compared to 25, almost the same average. With, granted, the touchdowns could kind of skew it a little bit, but I mean, he didn't drop a ball all year.
Yeah.
How do you go anywhere else?
There you go. Michaela, what say you?
I also am pretty much in agreement for Aacl Becker. Had an outstanding season. I had also made sure to look at those player of the weeks. He only did get one player of the week, but then again, that's mainly a lot of the player of the games and the player of the weeks are headlined by those quarterbacks at that offensive position. So if he's able to get that one player of the game, that shows how good of a player he is.
Even a few of the kickers stealing the limelight there a couple times, which I wasn't too happy with. All right, let's find out who is the top tight end in the AACL for season 2. Oh, my bad. So here is an interesting stat. There was only one award out of the 12 that was completely unanimous and swept all 13 votes, and this was it. Aacl Becker got all 13 votes. Michaela, does that surprise you at all?
No.
What about you, Duke?
No, I think when you look at it, he was the most heavily involved tight end. It wasn't even close.
It wasn't even close. Would you say, looking at all 12 awards, is this the most obvious gimme, do you think, out of all of them?
Yes. Hands down.
Michaela, what do you think?
I think, Jeff, just looking at all the different positions lined up, the tight end was the easiest one to pick apart about who was just a little bit more on top.
Oh, hey, so Crazy Canucks saying the booth is 3 for 3. Are you talking about what they're predicting? Crazy Canuck, they are 3 for 3, aren't they? Actually, 4 for 4 if you count the 2 winners for defensive line, I think. So
that's right.
Look at this. Look at Duke and Michaela are en fuego. They are on fire, folks. All right. So in case you just joined us in the last few minutes, top running back for season 2 in the AACL went to Brute Bandit. The top defensive line, there were 2, went to Alex Roy and Brookie Burr. And then right now we just did top tight end, the only unanimous vote out of all 12 awards, and it went to Aacl Becker of Florida. That moves us on to linebackers. Now, this is where, to be honest with you guys, I think it gets a little interesting and a little tougher. There were quite a few decent linebackers in this league this season. Duke, I'll start with you on this one. On the defensive side of the ball, at linebacker, and this takes all linebackers, right? Any two, middle, left, right, it does not matter. The top 2 linebackers out of all the human linebackers in the AACL, who do you see winning this award?
All right. So there's a clear number 1. Like it's not not even close. Navarro Kozlovsny.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. Navarro who?
Yeah, that guy.
Dude, did you guys see Gunny in the chat or in the server the other day? It was like
Navarro,
pause loves my knees or something like that. It's terrible, but dude, go ahead.
I mean, Paz is the guy. I'm positive he's the number 1 guy. I mean, 81 tackles, 78 solo. He did not lead the league, so we'll get back to that.
Yeah, that's interesting.
81
right?
tackles.
That's interesting. Yeah.
78 solo. 5 sacks. 1 forced fumble, which I'm pretty sure he also recovered his own forced fumble.
He did.
And scored a touchdown.
I think he ran it back for a touchdown, which was the same game. If I'm not mistaken, he had a pick 6 as well.
And speaking of picks, he had 7 of them.
Oh my God! As a linebacker.
So I think I speak for myself and Kayla when I say I'm positive he's number 1.
All right. Wait. So who you got in that number 2 slot then? If that's true.
All right. So number 2 is where it gets a little bit dirty. All right. You got to start looking at everything. There's some guys with some picks, but we all know picks aren't necessarily that important to a linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
Linebackers are meant to make tackles and
they
stuff.
They actually drop a lot. They probably drop more interceptions than any other position.
Absolutely. But speaking of that, Jeremy Mosley at Alabama, 89 tackles. That's not even the crazy part. All right, you look at a lot of stats, and most of the time you see like the tackles and then the solo tackles are very different numbers. 89 tackles, 88 of them were solo.
Dude, that's like unheard of, man.
It's ridiculous. With 3 sacks. Oh, and by the way, he also had the second highest, he was tied for third. He had the second highest interceptions amongst linebackers with 2, which is a huge drop off, which just makes me even more positive.
Yeah,
Navarro's number 1, but I'm going Navarro and Mosley.
Okay. Michaela, before you answer this, can you read Gunny's post there in the chat real quick?
Oh, Navarro posted notes stuck on me.
All right.
Yeah, that guy.
That guy. All right. Who do you see the 2 linebackers winning this one, Michaela?
Yeah, mine were already stolen. I do agree with the whole Navarro Kozlovsny and Jeremy Mosley. Like getting into like even the postseason, Navarro had adding on to his already increased amount of interceptions and all that. He had 2 more interceptions on top of that. One of them being a pick 6, something I can't say I have. And then he also had
for those of you who have been in the SFL for a long time, is Michaela going to be the Eddie Gage of the AACL?
Oof. I don't know who that is,
yeah,
but it sounds like an insult.
He's been in the league for like 12, 13, 14, 20, I don't know, 21 season, whatever it is. And he's got the most interceptions in the history of the SFL, over 100 interceptions, does not have a pick 6.
Dang.
Yeah.
I really hope I'm not.
So there's that. But anyway, you were saying.
Yeah, but he also has he also added a fumble recovery on that, but he not also just going on to like players of the week or players of the game. He had 4 players of the game and 2 players of the weeks.
Wow.
So he's up there. And then Jeremy Mosley also had 2 recorded players of the game.
Wow. Okay. All right. So the booth is saying Kozlovsny.
And just go with Paz.
Yeah, with actually, what's his first name? Navarro. I just call him Nav.
Navarro.
Okay. Did you give us a second one,
Dave.
yet, Michaela?
Yeah, I said Jeremy.
Oh, and Mosley. All right. So Nav and Mo. Is that where we're going?
That's where I'm going.
All right, Mac Dre, what's up, bro? I don't know if I hit you up earlier in the chat or Nate Hall, but good to see you guys. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. All right. With that being said, the top 2 linebackers of Season 2 in the AACL are...
Roll.
Dude, you guys are fucking crushing it. Crazy Canuck, is that like 6 for 6 on people and 4 for 4 on awards so far? Holy shit, you guys are nailing it. Okay, so would you guys have been surprised if anybody else got it?
Yes, I would have been like absolutely shocked. I'd be shocked if anybody was close.
So I think we're all in agreement that Navarro was far and away the best linebacker in the league.
If he wasn't a unanimous 13, whoever didn't pick him, we need to meet outside in the parking lot.
All right, let's see here. Let me go. Tight end was the last one we did before this, right? So I haven't missed anybody.
Yes.
Okay, so out of 26 votes, ready for? Actually, this is really great. So Navarro got 12, Mosley got 12, and the last.
Who didn't vote for Navarro?
Hold
Who
on,
are you?
hold
Meet
on,
me in the
hold
parking
on.
lot.
The other two went to Michaela's dad, Rob Foraker.
Oh,
It better
so
it better have been Michaela that voted for him.
I didn't. I didn't.
Oh, great! I didn't vote for my dad. Straight up on air, where it's recorded, and he'll be able to hold that. He'll be able to hold that against you forever.
Well, I don't know if my votes technically counted.
They did.
Okay.
Because technically there were 14 votes because you were the only future AD that put in a vote.
Oh wow! I
But
feel special.
your votes, so I was gonna vote, but I just took my vote out because 13
Okay.
was enough, and none of my votes would have made a difference, so it didn't matter. All right, here we go. There you go. So, real quick recap: Brute Bandit running back, Alex Roy and Brookie Burr at defensive line, Mikhail Becker, unanimous vote for tight end, and now Navarro and Mosley for linebackers. So that's what, 5 down. So we got 7 more to go, and the next one we're gonna do is. We're going back to back on defense because there's more defensive categories than offensive categories. This might be the trickiest one. I know I thought linebacker was pretty competitive, but I think safety is probably the most competitive. And I will tell you, safety had the most people voted. Out of all the awards, there were more safeties that got votes than any other position. As you guys look at the safety positions, Michaela, let's start with you. Who do you see going in the top 2 safeties for the AACL Season 2?
In my opinion, I had put Ray Bashan and Tucker Brothers.
Ray Bashan,
Tucker Brothers.
Okay.
Yeah, Tucker Brothers made more pick sixes than I did on the ball for LSU, so he helped the team a little bit more than I did. But he also was on the top end for both tackles and tackles for losses. While he did not have a player of the week, he did have 3 players of the game for Tucker Brothers. On Ray Bashan, a name that was called many times for the defense on Florida. He was second place in tackles, but also made a lot more plays on the ball. While he did have only 1 INT and 5 deflections, he also had 2 sacks. And just based on all the stats, I thought that he was a good all-around player, and he had 6 players of the game. Basically, he got one 50% of the time.
There you go. Okay.
And then he did have 1 player of the week.
Yeah, 1 player of the week. Okay, so Ray Bashan, and you said Tucker Brothers was the other one?
Yep.
Okay. Where are you going with this, Duke?
I'm going to, for the first time, we will probably stay perfect.
Somebody's gonna disagree here.
Yes, I'm going to disagree just on one case.
Okay.
I think Brothers is hard to argue against because he had 2 touchdowns. He was a big part of that defense. 123 interception return yards is crazy.
Yeah.
But my difference there is going to be I tend to think that maybe it's Nate Ironsides.
Nate Ironsides. Let me look him up here.
84 tackles, 74 solo, 10 assisted tackles, 12 tackles for a loss.
That led all safeties.
6 sacks.
That led all safeties as well. That's a good one.
Right. He didn't have a lot of the flashy, no interceptions, no touchdowns, none of that stuff.
Right.
But I mean, when you are harassing the quarterback 6 times throughout the year, and you're getting 12,
as
6
a
sacks
as
and
a
12 tackles
safety.
for a loss.
As a safety.
As a safety?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
To me, that's a big deal.
Okay.
But I think it comes down to Ironsides, and I actually think this may be the first time we see a team sweep if Ray Bashan can actually be the other guy.
So you think maybe Ray Bashan and Nate Ironsides for Florida?
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Ray Bashan and Nate Ironsides because I don't think. I think the drastic difference in tackles. I do agree that the touchdowns are important, but you don't pay safeties to make interceptions.
Right.
Safeties are tackle first people.
Yep.
I pay corners to get picks. I pay safeties to light people up.
All right. Well, here we go. Top safeties. And this is going to be funny because there is a little twist on this award, and I will say it after we announce the winners. Top safeties for AACL Season 2 are...
Oh my god.
Yes! Does that mean technically we're like 9 for 9?
Yeah, I mean, so here's the deal. Hold on. I forgot to loop this one. Hold on. Hold on. I gotta do this. My bad. All right, so here's what happened on this one. All right, I mentioned that the safeties had the most votes or most different people. 8 different people got votes for safety of the year. 8, which is crazy, with only 26 votes. Right? Ray Bashan led all voting with 8 votes. Second place went to Leon Thunderman, but Leon Thunderman left the server.
Yep.
So he was disqualified.
I was going to talk about him, then I saw you highlight him red.
Yeah. So tied for third place with 3 votes apiece were Ironsides and Tucker. Then you had Blake, Funk, and Wooly Bands all with 2, and then McNoble with 1. So a lot of different votes, but this is why it's tied because Tucker Brothers and Nate Ironsides actually tied in votes, so all 3 get to wear the badge of honor for safety of the season. So that leaves you guys perfect still. We haven't Pinkard, what's up?
We're
I think
so
you just
good
got
at
here.
this,
We
Michaela.
haven't done cornerback yet. All right, so with Leon being out, because let's be honest, it probably would have been with Leon Thunderman's stats, it would have been Ray Bashan and Leon Thunderman, I think. Right?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But
That's where I was going to go, but then I had to scramble when you highlighted him.
well,
red.
yeah, I mean, well, if you leave the server, I mean, I'm not going to
No
give you.
awards
I'm not,
for you.
I'm not giving you a fucking award for leaving the
No
fucking
soup
server.
for you.
Exactly. Twin Screw, what's up? Good to see you. Pinker, good to see you. Let me see if I missed anybody else jumping in the chat so far. I don't think so. We have, for those of you just joining, we've done, I think, half the awards already. Top running back went to Brute Bandit out of LSU.
Roar.
What's that?
Roar.
Did you just say fucking roar?
I didn't have time to pull it
Did
up.
you literally just say
Roar.
wow?
Roar.
I thought she was like more or lore. I'm like, are you trying to correct me? What the fuck are you saying? All right, so fucking roar, I guess. So Brute Bandit from LSU got running back of the year. Actually, you know what I think I'll do? Maybe I'll just recap them real quick because we're halfway through. So let me kill this real quick. Let me do this so you guys can see them for yourselves real quick. Top running back right here. Boom. Oh, that's not it. Boom. Brute Bandit, LSU. Defensive line. Alex Roy and Brookie Burr from LSU and Illinois. Winner for tight end, the only unanimous vote out of everything, Mikael Becker from Florida.
That's fair, though. We all saw
Yeah, I agree with that. Top linebackers, Navarro and Mosley. Tied. I mean, they pretty much, they almost went, they were both 1 vote away from unanimous. And then what you just saw right now, safety, those 3 right there, Ray Bashan, Tucker Brothers, and Nate Ironsides. So there you go. We're about halfway through, folks, with the AACL Season 2 awards show. Let's move on to one of my, actually, I wouldn't say one of my, let's move on to my favorite position.
Not because you have a shot at it.
Not really.
You
You don't know. I can tell you. I will tell you. I got votes. So fuck off.
Sympathy votes.
Wasn't me.
It wasn't me.
Hey, I didn't say it was you, but I got votes. All right, here we go. Wide receivers. Let's be honest. There was a shitload of good wide receivers in this league. To only give out 2 awards for this particular award is probably a travesty. But Duke, let's start with you. Trying to narrow this down to the top 2 wide receivers in all the land. Who do you got?
I mean, for me personally, it's really hard
And you
to
can't
not give this to the league leader
You
in
can't.
touchdowns.
I was gonna say you can't give it to You can't give it. What's your fucking AI guy?
Oh! I gotta change.
Eli
my,
Stove.
I gotta change my vote then because Eli Stove should have.
Eli
got it, but
Stove
whatever.
should get it exactly. All right, what are you saying?
I think Krista Shalizzi, for one. She did not lead the league in yards or touches, but she led it in touchdowns and was up there tied or near the top for touchdown catches or touchdown, the longest reception. So Shalizzi for me is one of mine.
Okay.
Could be a little homerish. That's fine. I think the other one, without a doubt, is Beetlejuice. 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns. He's probably actually number one, and I think Krista comes in at 2.
Is he the only one who went over 1,000? We had several in the 900s, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, there was a couple. Stefan Forge flirted with it too.
I'm looking at it right now. Go ahead, Michaela.
That's where I realized I may have voted a little bit wrong. I was tired when I did my votes, and I didn't look close enough at Beetlejuice. So
who did you vote for?
I did vote for Stefan Forge because he was that integral part for Iowa in getting them their yards. He had 988 yards, so very close to that 1,000 yards.
Okay. Hey, actually, another Auburn person, Mel Davis, had 923 yards. I see on here as well.
That's who got my second vote. Mel Davis was my second vote.
Well,
That's not a bad answer either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't paying too much attention to the touchdowns part. I was paying more attention to the receptions and the yards, and then the average yards.
Okay, so
after completion as
all
well.
right, so you said Stefan Forge and who?
Mel Davis.
And Mel Davis, and you have Beetlejuice and Krista. Is that what you said there?
I do have Beetlejuice and Krista.
Wow! So for the first time, we are not going to have a perfect record in the booth.
Well, we could have a perfect record in the booth.
No, he's saying we missed
one. Oh.
No, there's only 2, and you guys have 4 different wide receivers, so that's not possible.
Well, if we cover both of them, we'd still be perfect.
One of you will be, possibly. Or you could split it and both of you be imperfect, which is
we're a team here though.
I mean, but you're both kind of fucked up anyway, so I'm gonna go with imperfect. In the chat, I agree. I think it should be Eli Stove and Cam Sullivan Brown. Those are my votes. Those are my votes for wide receiver. All right, let's see. Out of all the amazing wide receivers, let me see how many. By the way, out of all the amazing wide receivers, only 6 got votes. I was surprised by that. I expected this to be the category with the most people getting votes. Only 6 wide receivers receive votes for this. And let's find out who they are right now, the top wide receivers. Oh, fuck. Did you guys each get one? Is that how it worked?
Yeah, we did.
Oh,
Yep.
my God.
Yep.
All right, so this is where it's interesting. And
Duke and Krista. Or
Duke.
Krista. Team Duke and Michaela is perfect.
Yep, Duke, you might. This is where you might hold Michaela's feet to the fire a little bit. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Based on what she just said a minute ago. Beetlejuice was the runaway with 12 votes out of 26. So he had almost half the votes just to himself. Second place, Stefan Forge only had 5. Krista had 4. So if somebody wasn't tired, it might have gone the other way.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, I think she probably would have. I'm reading into it a little bit, but I think if she'd have been awake, she'd have voted Beetlejuice and Stefan Forge, and Mel would not have gotten picked.
Well, here's the deal. Oh, that's true. Oh, that's right. She picked Mel, not Krista. My bad. You're right. All right. So Beetlejuice had 12, Stefan Forge with 5, Krista Shalizzi with 4, Mel Davis with 2, Dave Axis with 2, believe it or not. I'm sure one of them was a courtesy. And then Stuart Zomelia from Kansas. I thought we talked all year about the tandem from Kansas being maybe the best tandem wide receivers in this league. And between the two of them, they only received 1 vote. I was a little surprised by that. Does that surprise you two?
I don't know who we is, but I do believe that.
I mean, they had almost 1,600 yards combined. The two of them, 12 touchdowns.
Mel and Krista had almost 1,500 yards and 18 touchdowns.
Right, almost 15 is not 16. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay. What did you say?
And you had
12 touchdowns. It's not 18.
Hey, and you had 3 wide receivers over there with Nathaniel
No,
Perez.
he had 4.
I had 4.
Well, yeah, if you count Eli.
No,
count Eli's
Gavin
5.
Duke.
Wait. Oh, Gavin. Oh, fuck. I forgot about you.
Yeah, I moved late in the
But you
season.
moved late, so you weren't really in contention. Zomelia, what's up, bro? You got here just in time. Jaden Swift, good to see you, bro. And Corey, you're still here with us. I think that's all the new peeps for right now. I don't want to review everything again. I'll do it here after a couple more votes or after a couple more reveals. We're about I think maybe 2/3 of the way done. But
I'm actually kind of surprised Flash Freddy didn't get one for 64 carries with 380 yards and 5 touchdowns.
Dude, because he moved from wide receiver to running back, remember?
Right.
So he didn't get it. Dude, so Holdorf isn't in the chat. Holdorf's not here in the booth, but Holdorf is in the AD lounge bitching at me about Missouri having yellow colors now. What the fuck? Where's his priorities?
He can suck it up.
He can suck it. You don't even have to say up. He can just suck it. All right, Marco, Zomelia, all you guys, Nate Hall, Twin Screw, Freddie, Crazy Canuck, great. You guys are hanging out. Pinker to see you as well.
I thought Ware was supposed to be here.
Yeah, that's what he said, but he is nowhere to be found. Hey-yo.
Hey, just like he was in the national championship game.
Hey-o. Ouch. All right, so let's move on to another interesting category.
Oh, I like interesting categories.
And we're going to flip back to the defensive side of the ball with... All right, so Gavin Duke, wide receiver for Auburn. I'm going to go to you first with all 200 yards of receiving this season.
He had 2 interceptions, too. He's the only player in the AACL who had a receiving touchdown and an interception.
That's not true. The safety from Navy that we didn't know was playing both sides of the ball. Was it Bobby Boucher?
Oh, yeah, but that didn't count. That was cheating.
It's not. But when you do it, it's fine.
Yeah, but I moved. I actually moved positions. He was just playing both sides of the ball.
He moved
the whole time.
positions, too. He just didn't fucking tell anybody.
Cheating.
That's it.
Cheating.
All right. Duke, corners. Top 2 corners.
I will say this so she doesn't have to. There's no way on God's green earth that the walk-away number 1 with 13 votes is not Michaela Foraker. I'm just saying. It has to be.
That's pretty bold.
I mean, almost double the interceptions of everybody but 2 people. Actually, she did double the interceptions of everybody but 2 people. The next one on my list, this is you're picking hairs here.
Yeah.
But I think when you start picking, Tom Welsh, you did a great job this year. Mm-hmm. Fantastic job. 7 interceptions. You had more tackles than this guy. You had more solo tackles than this guy. I think I'm trying to read it as I go. You had more tackles for losses. So it looks like when you start reading across the line that you have the better thing. But DeHayton, 37 tackles, 35 solo, 9 interceptions with 106 return yards, and 2 reception touchdowns is going to be the second one on the board.
Yeah, the most pick sixes for a corner this season, right or no? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Which 2 is only 1 more than 1, but if you want to depend on your angle, you can say, man, that's twice as many, right?
That's a 100% increase over everybody else.
Exactly.
200%.
So you're saying Michaela and DeHayton?
Yep.
All right, Michaela, you gonna call your own shot here?
I guess for my overall vote, I for sure had DeHayton. I legit put my notes. My main rival at cornerback for all season for interceptions But had a couple of pick sixes and 9 interceptions in the regular season. And then in that postseason, he caught up to me in interceptions at 11. He was also in the top half for tackles among the corners, had a player of the week and 2 player of the games. If he didn't get also a big amount of the votes, I would be surprised.
Well,
However, for my last spot,
Yeah.
I split it between 2 people for for getting the best at turnovers at the ball. That was for sure me. But I feel like there was someone better at coverage, which is something you also do need to look for in a corner. And I gave that vote to Bill Cherry, who had the most recorded tackles for a loss, and had even 2 sacks as well as a forced fumble, and had 1 player of the game.
Okay. As I'm looking over this list, who else I see a couple other people. Vinny Boombats looks pretty good. Shyler Pratt over there in Iowa looks pretty good. There's one more I saw here. Haxel Carter, James Troll. Like, there were a lot of good corners, which I guess you need since we have so many good wide receivers.
Yeah.
Even Shea looks pretty decent. I think there's probably as many good corners as there are wide receivers in this league. So, all right. So, Michaela,
The question is,
yeah, go ahead.
What do you pay a cornerback to do?
Shut down wide receivers and intercept balls.
Yep.
That's what she said. Hold on a second.
So I think there could be. I think it's in there, but I definitely think it's my vote's on Hayden A.
Okay, so you say Michaela and Hayden A. And Michaela, you said who again? I'm sorry.
The Hayden A, Bill Cherry, and myself.
Okay, I wish this would have been 3 like the safety was, but there was not a tie. There are only 2 winners, and those winners are.
We are so good at this.
I mean, here's the thing. Here's the other thing that if you two are looking at the spreadsheet that we forgot to do was this right here.
Forget to.
Tom Welsh.
Oh.
Tom Welsh is also
Yeah, he
left.
left.
Him and the Neville brothers. They're all buddies. They all left. So even though I think Michaela and DeHayton were, I think, the top 2, I think Tom Welsh was like a 2B, right? He was like right there with them. Those 3 were, I think, by far and away the top 3 corners. But once Tom Welsh left the server, I don't think there was any doubt after that point that it was Michaela and DeHayton. Let's look at the voting. 26 votes on corner. Michaela Foraker, 13 votes, half the votes all to herself. DeHayton with 9. So those 2 dominated. Then Tom Welsh had 2. Bill Cherry had 1 from somebody. And then Jeff Banfield had 1, which, to be honest with you, I didn't even look at Jeff's stats. Let's look at Jeff real quick. Is Jeff on?
48 tackles. He was
48 tackles, only 3 for loss. He had 3 picks. Nothing crazy. Some couple of pass deflections. So that vote surprised me a little bit. But other than that, I think the voters got it right. Michaela Foraker, DeHayton, by far and away the top 2 corners this season. I'm going to switch things up here, and we are going to go from on the field to in the booth. Let's talk about the top broadcasters for the season, and there will be 3 winners.
Oh.
There will be a play-by-play, there will be an analyst, and there will be a third wheel. So as you two put on your thinking caps and don't have a spreadsheet to cheat with this time, off the top of your head, who are some of the play-by-play analysts and third wheels that you think deserve to be in the conversation for broadcaster of season 2?
I mean, I think the first one, and
actually,
it pains me to say this.
Hey, bro, I'm sorry, bro. I forgot to do this. Okay, now you were.
It pains me to say this because I do not know that this man's head can afford to get any bigger, because it may either explode or cause the Earth to tilt on its axis and fly off course and kill us all. But Dave Axis has got to be on that list somewhere.
I'm sure he's on the list somewhere. Michaela, what about you?
I would have to agree with Dave Axis, but you also got to go with the person who also has the best name in the AACL, David Leathers. He was there for a lot of the games, providing that play-by-play.
Okay, so you got 2 play-by-plays. What about analysts or third wheel, Duke?
Um, I thought Michaela did a good job as an analyst.
I was never analyst. I was third wheel.
Oh, well, then I'll go with her for third wheel. Um, crap, I don't know who all signed up for analyst. I signed up for analyst a couple times, but I'm not that great, so it couldn't have
Well,
been me.
let me say this to everybody as I see Walker Homestead. I don't know if I said hi to you earlier, bro, or not, but this particular vote was not on the ballot for the ADs. This was my selection. I selected these three names. These are the top three. Now, listen, there were a lot of great ones this season. But it wasn't just about how you called. It's maybe about how often you were there. It's about how involved you were. There's lots of criteria there. As I looked over the list, I kept track. I have the spreadsheets for every single sign up for every single game, and I went over all of them. So these votes are from me personally. And your winners for your top three broadcasters of the year, a play-by-play, an analyst, and a third wheel are so here's the deal. Like I said, this was my vote and my vote only. So obviously I'm not going to vote for myself. And I shouldn't be in the running anyway because, that's kind of my job. I'm supposed to be here. The rest of you don't have to be here. You're here out of the goodness of your heart, giving up your time, your energy, your efforts to be here. Far and away, no play-by-play put in more effort and time than David Leathers. Nate Hall called a bunch of games. Sorry, I just dropped something. A few others, but far and away, David Leathers. That's why I also asked him to call the championship game this season, which he did. I don't think there is a better analyst than Gunny. Gunny's got all the stats when he's doing a game. He literally he'll go quiet. He'll go silent for 5 minutes, and we'll be like, Gunny, you still there? And he just starts ripping off bullet points about stats and things that happen and comparing them to previous seasons. I don't think there's a better analyst in this league than Gunny. And then Freddie, always available,
Yep.
always here, always chiming in as a third wheel, and on top of all that, he sings goodnight to us every fucking game.
Yeah, that's
right?
pretty important.
You can't forget about that.
So when you add those up, I think it was pretty much a gimme that David Leathers, Gunny McGuire, and Freddie Trammell are basically your broadcast dream team for season 2 in the AACL. Duke, Michaela, your thoughts?
I think that's, spot on. I don't know if anybody wants to argue those, they can meet me outside the parking lot for whoever didn't vote the way they were supposed to a minute ago.
Nobody voted except for me, so it's okay. Oh, are you talking about in the chat?
I'm talking about anybody wants to argue with these three picks can meet
gotcha.
me out there.
Gotcha. Michaela?
Yeah, I would have to agree with these as well. Like, I know for sure whenever I was in the booth, there would be periods of time where I would just be silent.
Yeah,
even as a third wheel.
Yeah, I would actually say, I just want you to know, Michaela, you were definitely in the conversation along with Nate. Holdorf was obviously in the conversation. There would have been a couple other people in the conversation if they had done more games. Like there were a few people that only did a couple games. They did them really well, but they just went around. Benji was in the conversation. I just don't think Benji did enough. Chad only did a couple games, people like that. But I think far and away, I think this was pretty easy for me to actually pick these three. So congrats to David Leathers, to Gunny and Freddie for being the dream team, the dream broadcast team for season 2 in the AACL. This next one, we're going to stay off the field for one more, then we're going to get into the last 2 or 3. I think 3 more after, or 4 if you count the one I'm about to do. The next vote, again, done by me based on different criteria, and I'll talk about those in just a second. All right, so you see top school, and some people might say, oh, it's probably Auburn. They went undefeated, blah, 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 blah. However, let's talk about some other things, right? I watch locker rooms. I see chat ranks. I see who's involved. There are other stories other than just winning every game. What about Kansas, who was predicted to be number 2, went all the way to the bottom and worked their way all the way back up? What about an Indiana team that ended on, I think, a 6-game win streak? What about the roller coaster team of Virginia Tech? I mean, there are lots of stories from season 2. How about Penn State and LSU, for God's sake, making it to the Final Four? Penn State, they were in that battle there with Kansas and Indiana and Iowa there. That was probably the toughest division this season. There were a lot of great schools based on a lot of different criteria. So, Michaela, I'll go to you first. When you think of school of the season or the SOS, I was going to call it program of the season, but then that was POS, and that sounds like piece of shit, so I didn't want to roll with that. So it's the SOS award instead, school of the season. Michaela, when you think of school of the season, who do you think of?
I personally, I mean, yeah, you left this up to yourself. I think I had gone into that Kansas comeback era, though, a lot. I looked into that a lot, but then you also got to look at who's more active in all the chats as a school combined. I think I see a lot more of like Penn State people chatting and also Auburn people chatting, and then you'll get like me and my dad in there for LSU. But I think as a more combined school, I see more of that Auburn and Penn State.
Okay. Duke, where do you come out on this?
I would love to say Auburn is my choice, but I am going to have to go with Michaela's first choice in this one and say Penn State. I mean, you couldn't turn chat on without seeing that stupid blue Nittany line and Day Haytene in there just talking about anything and everything. And if it's not them, I actually think my backup after that might be Iowa. I mean, they were always in chat too.
Okay. Well, it's not all about chat. It's not all about chat rank. It's not all about winning on the field. It's not all about your locker room, but it's a combination of everything. And I will tell you, it was very close. And I will tell you how close it was after I tell you the winner. The school, the SOS, the school of the season, as David Ware finally jumps in. What's up, David Ware? Glad to see you. Now that we're down to the last couple awards tonight. The SOS, the school of the season for season 2 in the AACL is... Now, listen. It was definitely not all about the record. It was about locker room. It was about chat. It was about ADs helping out. It was about a lot of things. Penn State was a close second. LSU, Iowa, Indiana, all you guys, they were a lot of teams in the conversation. What put it over the top for me, for Auburn, was the fact, was actually going back to on the field, that not only did they go undefeated in the regular season, but they won the preseason tournament. They won the preseason tournament. They won the last game there, and then they won their 12. What did we play? 12 regular season games plus 2 playoff games. It was. Would you have like a 14, 15 game win streak? At the end 15, of the 13. Well, it was 12. Right?
It was 11 regular
11,
season
13, and then the championship game, and so 14. A 14 game win streak. What do you mean no?
It's 13. If you go to postseason stats, you'll see 13 weeks.
Hold on.
Yeah, but we're
talking about the preseason. If you go back to the preseason, so it makes it 14 consecutive victories. So,
and before that, I was on like a 10-game win streak.
Right before you lost to Kansas. So if you hadn't won the preseason tournament, this award probably would have gone to Penn State. But that's how close it was. But that puts you over the top. So Auburn Tigers, you are the SOS. You are the school of the season for season 2. As Art Vandelay jumping in the chat, and I see Pink Lisa again. Let's see who else is here. David Ware saying, I demand a recount. Yeah.
Where's my good luck charm, dude? I just had to beat him twice at the end of the season to win the
Natty. Dude, but one of those games was so... dude, that last game of the regular season, you got lucky, man. That's all I'm saying. And sometimes, it's okay. Sometimes you need a little luck to win. I get it.
Sometimes it's the struggle W's that mean the most.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, folks, we're down to our last 3 awards. The last 3 awards are going to be quarterback of the season, or top quarterback of season 2, the defensive player of season 2, and then the Rodney Dangerfield Award, which is basically the Heisman Trophy for the AACL. So, let's go in that order. So first we will talk about Michaela, let me go to you first. Top quarterback of the season. Who are some of the quarterbacks you think are in contention?
I had Pink Lisa because it's Pink Lisa. She had multiple Player of the Weeks and Player of the Games and had the best all around stats. But if I had to go with someone else, then I would have chosen Butch Menor. Had really great stats up there. Had the I think highest passing, or I guess passing yards was, or I guess not the highest passing yards because that's
No,
Marcus Swift,
I think him and Marco were the only two that threw over 4,000 yards, though, right?
Yeah, but he had that higher completion rate than Marco Swift.
Yeah, he had a higher QBR, right?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I think his QBR weren't him and Lisa tied or like a point off or something.
They were a point off.
Yeah. So I would, I would agree with that. So Butch, so you're saying Pink Lisa or maybe Butch Menor?
Yes.
Okay, Duke, where are you at with this?
So, and I'm gonna do this without being too much of a homer. I think it's hands down Pink Lisa, and not solely because of if you take those two quarterbacks who had more passing yards, and we just stop and look at the QB from in the pocket standpoint, hands down, those two would probably beat her out. But not only did she have close to as many touchdowns, I think 30 interceptions take Swift out of it, 17 interceptions apiece, 4 less touchdowns. But this is a number that gets lost on a lot of people. Lisa was sacked 29 times. That's lowest in the league, only behind Marco Swift, or only just barely ahead of Marco Swift. But she was a true pocket. And she rushed for almost 1,000 yards.
Yeah, she was
and another 13 touchdowns.
I think if you combine her yards, passing, and rushing, she was number one, right?
Right.
Yeah.
If you look at it, this is the thing to me, because I know a lot of people are going to say, well, what about somebody like Everywhere? He had a ton of yards, really good touchdown interception ratio.
Yeah, and he led the league in rushing for quarterbacks.
Yep. 14 fumbles.
Well, that's what happens. When you carry the ball that much, that's kind of expected, isn't it? That you're going to have.
Well,
more fumbles?
he didn't carry it too many more times. He only had like 29, or he had like 27 more carries than Lisa did.
Okay.
Had less touchdowns.
And almost the same amount of yards. They were both over 800, I think, right?
Right. I think just when you look at QBs, she put the team in to win. You knew when the proverbial shit was on the fan, she was going to pull it out and get Auburn the win. And she did it a lot because there were a bunch of games.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, too, right? So she led. Art Vandelay just said rushing touchdowns puts her over the top. 13 versus 11 for Taz, which we didn't talk about. We didn't talk about Rodney Dangerfield or Robo. Robo had 11 rushing touchdowns, for God's sake.
21 interceptions.
Is this really
touchdowns.
so? Let me ask you this, Duke, and I'm going to ask Michaela the same thing before we reveal the winner of top quarterback for season 2. Is it about passing? Is it about rushing? Is it about both, or is it about one of those based on what your archetype is?
I think it's about what position you put your team in. You have to look at, with a quarterback, you've got to look at the negative. Marco Swift is a perfect example. If Marco Swift has 17 interceptions, that's almost cuts his in half. So Marco puts his team in some bad spots sometimes, and that's no fault on him. Freshman quarterback, they make mistakes.
Right.
Lisa did a great job protecting the ball, putting her team in a place to win, and also being able to be probably, without a doubt in my mind, as coach, the best weapon on our team. Who, if I needed something, and she would be on the sideline, coach, give me the ball. We're going to beat town.
So
for several games where we looked like we were down and out, and she came to the sideline and said, "Hey, give me the ball, coach. We're going to win this."
You did win a couple games late, that's for sure. Michaela, what about look at Everywhere. Everywhere led all quarterbacks with 850 yards rushing. He had 9 rushing touchdowns. He only had 8 interceptions. But is that just a result of him being a rushing quarterback and not throwing the ball enough to risk throwing more interceptions, or do you see that as a positive? They only threw 8 interceptions.
I think it's more of like just the way of his player archetype, like being that if he is specifically a scrambler, then that boosted yards comes from being a scrambler and him not getting as many passes. So in the eyes of a scrambler QB, he'd be great with those stats.
Right. Well,
But in my opinion, the best quarterback should be like the best all around person, like no matter where they are.
all right. So you said Pink Lisa, and then Butch. Did you say or Butch? Duke, did you say Butch Menor? Or are you saying Pink Lisa as well?
I think Pink Lisa is the winner, but I think Minner is the guy who comes in second.
All right, everybody. Drum roll, please. Let's find out who the top quarterback in the AACL for season 2 was. Oh, I forgot to put that on loop. Give me a second. My bad. We're going to watch it again. Yes, we're going to watch it again. Here we go.
Just kidding.
No, you're good. All right, so you guys ready for this? 13 votes, right, for quarterback of the year. Butch Menor with 6 votes.
Pink Lisa had 5.
Pink Lisa had 3.
What?
Marco Swift with 2. Ballin with 1, and McRunsalot with 1. So Ballin is the quarterback from LSU. Marco we know from Iowa. And then McRunsalot from Kansas. So you sound a little shocked there, Duke.
I mean, I just need somebody to come in the booth and explain the what was the
Here's
Well,
where
let's look at Larry Ballin. 25 touchdowns to only 15 interceptions, 72% completion. Those are good, and he threw for over 3,000 yards. Those aren't terrible stats. Okay, McRunsalot. Let me look at McRunsalot. McRunsalot, 27 and 20, not quite the argument, but led the league in completion percentage with almost 76%. Or actually, he was second, barely by 0.1. So that is, I mean, here's the thing, right? It depends on, and this is why I brought up the question. This might be the hardest award to vote for, because what are you voting on? Are you voting on a quarterback that knows how to win games? Are you voting for a quarterback that throws for a lot of yards, has a lot of touchdowns, rushes for more, has a higher completion percentage? Like, there's a lot of data here, Michaela. How do you? I mean, is that what I'm? Are you seeing the same thing that I'm seeing? Is that it's just about people picking and choosing what they think is most important?
Yeah, I think a lot of people could have also been thinking of Pink Lisa for a different award and thinking like, oh, she's a better all-around player. Let's put her up for the Rodney Dangerfield Award and just leave the QB award for someone else.
That's a good point too. Duke, what do you think about that?
So I might step on some toes with this one.
You sound so speechless.
This is crazy to me. Like, what stats did we look at for this? Because if the argument is we're looking at the better quarterback because he threw for more yards and threw for more touchdowns, okay, my counter argument to that is almost 50 more attempts, or almost 40 more attempts and almost 50 more completions for 4 more touchdowns and 4 yards less on average per throw and a lower completion percentage.
He also carried his team to a 6 game win streak to close out the season. So maybe
that's
that has
fantastic. She carried hers on a 13-game win streak to win it all.
I'm just saying, like, maybe a lot of those stats, maybe he's the reason why they carried. So here's something interesting.
Wow.
Crazy Canuck in the chat says the only thing working against Lisa was the fact that her team was so dominant. So could that be that when you have all those receivers we talked about and the defenders we talked about, and you've got Fox Highwind that you mentioned earlier, is it fair to say, is Lisa the best player on the best team, and is that how this award should go, or should that be saved
100%? We don't go 13-0 with any other quarterback on this list.
Wow.
I mean, if you watch our games, how many times did you in broadcast say, "Oh, 3rd and 13, there she goes scrambling. That's not going to get it. Oh, wait, she just converted 3rd and 13 on her feet."
I'm sure we could say that about some of the other quarterbacks too, but
I agree.
I mean, right. Yeah. So I mean, listen. I'm not surprised that Butch won it. I'm surprised he won it with twice as many votes. That actually,
I just don't see. I don't see what jumps out and tells you he's the better quarterback.
All right. Well, I think we beat that horse enough for now. Let's move on to the last two awards. The first one of these last two is going to be.
Defensive player of the year?
Yeah, I'm just very careful because I don't want to hit the wrong button and give shit away. So hold on a second. All right, Michaela. Lots of winners already tonight. I think that we could argue could win this award. Who do you think is, or maybe one or two people, even maybe three, if off the top of your head, that could be in contention for Defensive Player of Season 2?
I only really thought about one person when I made my vote, and that was Navarro. Navarro was just great out there on that field. He was a very dominant linebacker and just left it out all on the field. And I don't know. He was a very dominant player.
Okay. Duke, do you agree with that? Or do you think there's some other people in the conversation?
No, it's Michaela. It's Michaela Foraker. I'm just saying, nobody turned games around for teams like she did.
Dude, Gunny said,
I mean,
Navarro,
I could be wrong, though, because
I'm not laughing at you,
bro.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at Gunny. He said Navarro potluck with Lisa or with Leslie, whatever. Dude, Gunny's got the funniest names. But, well, I mean, think about all the great defensive players that have won awards tonight already, right? You've got, let me just look at the list for a second. Alex Roy, Brookie Burr, Navarro, Mosley, Michaela, DeHatenay, Ray Bashan, and Ironsides and Tucker. Those are a lot of great names. And you still think at the end of the day it's who?
I still think it's Michaela. I think if you look back, if we're talking about Defensive Player of the Year, we're not talking about the best linebacker. We're not talking about the best defensive lineman. We're not talking about the best cornerback. We're not talking about the best safety. We're talking about the best Defensive Player of the Year. You tell me who we talked about more as being a game changer than we did Michaela. When it came down to it, it's like, oh, she's probably going to get 2 more receptions this game because that's just what she does. We knew who to look out for. I just think it's her. She played the game.
That's a valid point. That is a serious valid point. By the way, David Ware, I know you weren't here earlier, but linebackers of the year were Navarro and Mosley. So Mosley did win linebacker of the year along with Navarro. All right. Well, you've got in the booth, you got to vote for Navarro. You got to vote for Michaela. Let's find out who the AACL Season 2 winner is for Defensive Player of the Season.
I mean, I'm not that makes sense.
I mean, so let me tell you the voting before I get your guys' feedback, your comment. Defensive Player of the Season, all 13 votes. Jeremy Mosley had 1 vote. Alex Roy had 1 vote. DeHatenay had 1 vote. Michaela had 3 votes, and Navarro had 5 votes. So it was pretty heavy at the top between Navarro and Michaela. But Navarro beats her out by 2 votes. And that's who you thought it would be, Michaela. So obviously no surprise from you.
Yeah, that's who I voted for. I felt like he was more just of an effective player on the field than I was, just overall.
And you said you don't have any arguments about this. And I assume then, Duke, you're not surprised by this at all.
I just think that when you start looking at this type of stuff, you have to take everything into account. And I think sometimes as ADs and as typical fans, we see flashy things like numbers, like he had more of this and more of that. But when it comes down to it, go look at all the numbers. This league was pass first. So if you're telling me to start a team tomorrow, I need a defense, you get first pick. Who you taking? If I know it's a pass-heavy league, I'm taking Michaela. I mean, Navarro's not a bad pick either. You're not going to be wrong. This is like arguing who's better, Mike Trout or Shohei Ohtani.
Right, but so just to play devil's advocate with you, you're saying it's a pass-first league. Navarro had 7 interceptions, bro, as a linebacker.
Right. I don't know. I think that's more of a that was more of a a lot of the books that were chosen like to try to take over the middle of the field. And there's not a ton of like if you're in any other leagues, in other leagues there are steroid players that are just way better than everybody else.
Yeah.
Here everybody's so balanced
Yeah.
that it's hard. And to me, that makes cornerback a harder position to play because even in leagues where you have steroid corners, they will still get eat up sometimes.
Right.
It just happens.
Well, I would say here's the other thing. Because defensive player of the season is almost kind of like the defensive Heisman here, right? The Heisman almost always goes to an offensive player. That's probably what's going to happen, I would imagine, with our Rodney Dangerfield award as well. So that's why I added in the defensive player of the season. With those type of awards, though, usually comes like that Heisman moment. I think Navarro had the Heisman moment, the game where he caused a fumble, recovered the fumble, ran it back for a touchdown, and in the same game had a pick six. That, to me, was a Heisman moment. I think that's what put Navarro over the top. Michaela, what do you think?
Yeah, like I think watched that game as well, and he just had a lot of those big plays. I mean, even like against in the postseason, he had a lot of those big plays that helped Penn State come in third. I that's why I voted for him for a reason, is because I feel like he was that person who was able to make those plays to help Penn State get to where they've ended up.
Agreed. I'm going to run through all of the awards real quick before we get to the last award of the night. Just to recap for those who weren't here before.
0-3 where?
What's that? Oh, yeah. Let's start at the very beginning real quick. I'm just going to run through them real fast. So, real quick, your winner for top running back in the AACL for Season 2 was... Brute Bandit. Winners for defensive line of the year were... Oh, that's not it. That's it right there. No, that's not it either. What the fuck am I doing?
No, that is it. You just
Did I fuck something up?
you unchecked local file.
Where did I do
Scroll
that?
up.
Oh, I did. Hold on, my bad. I was trying to unmute. I was trying to undo the loop. That's what I meant to do. There we go. Defensive line.
You could just kill the loop yourself.
No, I know I could, but it's easier if I do it like this. The only unanimous vote for this season, top tight end for Season 2 was... Mikael Becker. Top safeties, because Leon Thunderman was disqualified, we ended up having a tie for second place, so we had 3 safeties for safety, I'm sorry. Yeah, for safeties of the year. I'll do linebacker in a second. Safeties of the year were... Linebackers of the year. Your top wide receivers. Your top corners.
You're not hitting the winner. You're putting the top.
Oh, fuck. Did I do that twice? My bad. I'm trying to do so many fucking things here. Did I do safeties properly?
You did
Yes.
do the safeties properly. You didn't do the wide receivers or cornerbacks properly.
All right, let's do this. See, this is why I have people in the booth to help me out. Here we go. Wide receivers. My bad. Your top corners. Two off the field awards. The first one was top broadcasters. There was a winner for play-by-play, for analyst, and for third wheel. Winner for School of the Season by the hair of their chinny chin chins.
That's a long hair. Unlike where?
Hold on.
That's what she said.
Quarterback of the year, probably the most controversial, but I'm not saying that Butch didn't earn it though. Was Butch Menor for quarterback of the season?
I need Kanye to come in here. Not so fast. You did great and everything.
And then what's that?
You did when he went in and interrupted Taylor
Yeah,
Swift.
Yeah, of course. Defensive player of the season we just talked about was Navarro. And that will bring us to the very last award of the night to wrap up Season 2 here in the AACL, and that would be... All right, here we go. It is, that's a good point, Pink Lisa, talking about Butch Menor. Doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile, winning is winning. We just literally watched all 11 of those movies this week.
I think she was talking about us winning the team award.
Oh, is that what it was? Oh,
yeah, because she said we won by the
hair.
Yeah,
by hair chin chin. Gotcha. I keep forgetting this is on delay, so the comments come late. Michaela, I will go to you. The Rodney Dangerfield Award won last season in Season 1 of the AACL by Rodney Dangerfield, which last season was called the Player of the Year Award. From this point forward, starting in Season 2, is called the Rodney Dangerfield Award, which is basically our Heisman Trophy. Who do you think it goes to?
I think it goes to Pink Lisa. She was always up there in the player of the week, player of the games. She was very much an integral part of that Auburn offense. I don't see how she doesn't win the Rodney Dangerfield Award.
Okay. Duke, I know you're biased.
I don't think you – no, I've changed my vote on this.
You did?
Yeah, you can't – yeah, there's no way. You can't win the Heisman and not win the award for your position. It doesn't happen. I don't know that it's ever happened.
So who are you saying it is?
Well, if Butch Menor is the best quarterback, then I mean, I don't personally. If Butch Menor is the best quarterback, then the Heisman winner has to be Navarro.
Ooh, that's a good point. Could Navarro win Defensive Player of the Season and the Heisman? That's a good point.
Because I mean, you can't do that. You can't win the best player of the year and not win your position battle.
Dude,
I don't agree with it. I mean, but
hey, does Gunny know something we don't know? He's saying, "Well deserved, Pink Lisa. Congratulations." I was like, I'm the only one who knows the results, bro. All right. Any last words before we announce who the Rodney Dangerfield Award winner is?
If Lisa wins this, then it is a travesty she didn't win the quarterback of the year.
All right, here we go, folks. The final award for Season 2, the Rodney Dangerfield Award, which is basically the Heisman Trophy here in the AACL, goes to... Michaela, are you slacking?
Oh, man.
All right, Michaela nailed it earlier. Michaela nailed it earlier. I got a lot of notes from ADs that said that because Pink Lisa got they voted for her for Rodney Dangerfield Award, they were going to vote for somebody else for quarterback so more people could win awards. I don't have a problem with that at all, actually, and to be honest with you, I did the exact same thing. So, that being said, that is the reason. That is the reason why. Who said that? Oh, look who finally showed the fuck up at the end of the show. Is I don't have a problem with this, and to be honest with you, I like that more people get wins. For example, I would not have liked to have seen Navarro win linebacker, defensive player, and the Rodney Dangerfield Award because I think it takes away from other players who had really good seasons as well. I think the more we spread the wealth out, the better. Now, I'm not saying like everybody gets a participation trophy, but I think that at that level, there is. I'm not.
You
saying,
knew
no,
what I was gonna
no,
say.
I'm saying it because at that level, I mean, we broke it down in a lot of positions that there are so many great possibilities. I mean, look at the corners. Like
Let
if
me
Tom
ask you this.
if Tom Welsh had been here and didn't get in the top 2, that might have been a bad thing, right?
Let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
Who did you vote for linebacker of the year?
I voted for Navarro and Mosley.
Who did you vote for defensive player of the year?
I voted for Navarro.
So that's 2 awards. Lisa would have won 2 awards had she won quarterback and
But that's okay because
Offensive
that's
player of the
okay.
year.
But listen, that's okay, and I'm sure Lisa thinks it's okay. Rodney
I know
Dangerfield.
she does.
I mean, this is like the Heisman. This is like the top award, right? If you win the top award, if you win the Rodney Dangerfield, are you even thinking about the other award that you won? Probably not. Right. So
mean,
I'm just
carrying
saying.
both onto
I'm just
the
saying.
sideline.
Maybe, but Navarro's probably like, I'm defensive player of the year, and then later in the conversation is like, oh yeah, I also won linebacker. Right.
I just think my issue with it isn't I'm on the fence because I agree in the sense of it's fun to see people win awards.
Yeah.
So that part of it I get.
Well,
But at the same time,
you ready for the? Or let me tell you the voting. You ready for the voting?
13.
11.
Oh my gosh. Did 2 of them go to Butch Minner?
No.
Oh, they had to go to Navarro then.
No, they went to Marco Swift.
What?
Marco Swift got 2 for Rodney Dangerfield and 2 for quarterback, but they weren't the same votes. Butch didn't get any for Rodney Dangerfield, but he got 6 for quarterback. Lisa got 11 for Rodney Dangerfield and only 3 for quarterback. I think people were seeing it the way that we're talking about it.
I just don't know. Like, if it's me, I don't want to win it if I can't win it all. Like, if to me that just means that I got a sympathy win. That hurts my feelings more than it does anything else.
Well, I here's at the end of the day, I don't think there's any question that the best player in the league this season was Lisa, and the fact the fact that she won the Rodney Dangerfield award, I think says that. And anything else she got,
that the Pink Lisa Award.
Anything else she would have got would have been just gravy. It would have been frosting. It would have been just extra stuff. This is the award, and I think the voters got it right. I think they say Pink Lisa was the best overall player, and maybe Butch Menor was a little better quarterback. I don't have a problem with that, to be honest with you. I think it's okay.
Lisa, I voted for you in both.
I like the fact that the voters are looking at things that deeply to be able to split the hairs like that too. It shows that there's an investment here, which I like. So, all right, all of that being said, Michaela, let's wrap this shindig up. Let me start with you. Any surprises tonight? Anything that you knew for sure was going to happen and it did? You seem like you probably got a good 80-90% of them right as it was. So give me your overall thoughts on all the awards tonight.
I have no real surprises. I think what happened should have happened. I have no qualms with what happened.
What did somebody say it should be called the Pink Lisa Award now? Who said that?
I did. It's been renamed.
Oh, actually, you know what we could do? We could just rename it every year for the person who won it the year before.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
That could be good. We'll vote on that. Duke, give me your last thoughts on all the awards tonight.
I think there was a lot of. I mean, go back and if you listen to it, Michaela and I were pretty spot on. I think we picked a couple of things a little different here and there. But I mean, I think we nailed everything, didn't we? Except for QB.
Yeah, I think you guys split one of them, right? You split,
but we got both by the
Right.
split.
Well, but you got 1 out of 2 on them, as opposed to getting 2 out of 2 on the ones before. So
The wide receiver.
We were just
as a team, you probably got at
we
least
were just
one right
covering
on
the
each
spread.
one.
That's what we were doing.
That's perfect.
I don't have any issues with it. I think it's yeah. I don't have any issues.
Dude, Pink Lisa's like, Duke has his players back, and David Ware's all, Duke is biased and not able to cast fair votes.
Well, David Ware needs to learn how to coach first, and then he can worry about winning awards.
He says every time we picked a non-Auburn player, you didn't agree with it.
That's a 100%. That's 100% a lie. Just go back and watch the tape. There we go. There
Check
it
tape.
is.
Check tape.
Not only did I beat Ware into submission this year, but I also beat Saban into retirement. I beat Ware so bad.
Actually, I saw a meme today that said the real reason why Nick Saban retired, and it's a picture of Nico. What's up? That's what I'm saying. All right, let's see here. In the chat, anything else I gotta see?
You didn't teach me Ware.
Anybody have questions?
Gunny did agree to the changing every season.
We can talk about that. I'll throw it in the AD lounge. We can vote on that and see. That might not be bad. Next season it'll be called the Pink Lisa Award, and then whoever wins it next season, it'll change to their name, etc. I don't have a problem with that. That being said, should we name the Defensive Player of the Year award the Navarro Award for next season? Maybe we should do that. Maybe we should name every single position one after the Navarro Mosley Award for linebacker, so we don't have to say Pozluzny anymore. I don't have a problem with that. I taught you everything you know. Hey, look at Zach Holdorf's here. Good. Thanks for joining us, Zach. Appreciate it.
Thank you forever.
All right, folks.
I mean, I'll be cast out. I can't be caught as the winningest coach. Was perfect on the season, so that's what it is.
There's that. All right, folks. First of all, thank you for in other news. Hey, thanks for tuning in tonight. Appreciate it, as well as tuning in Tuesday night and Wednesday night as we were doing the State of the League. If you've missed any of that, please go back and watch that. Hey, is Silver Thurfer on is he on a roster this season, Art? If he's not, you should bring him to Miami. I would love to hear broadcasters have to say that shit again. That's hilarious. No one could spell Poles Lusty. I almost read that differently, by the way. Yes, Twin Screw, thank you, bro. In case you didn't hear me pound it into your heads the last 2 nights, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. It doesn't cost you anything. All you have to do is click a button, and please hit the like button on every video. On both nights, Tuesday and Wednesday, only half of you hit the like button, which is kind of ridiculous. So hit the like button and subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. Do that shit, please. Any last thoughts in the chat before we sign off tonight? I've got some announcements coming tomorrow and Monday. I probably won't bug you over the weekend about the next steps and what we're in the middle of accomplishing behind the scenes. So keep an eye out for that. And I don't see any. Let's see here.
Somebody asked why we don't have an AD of the Year award.
Because you guys all suck. To be honest with you, because I didn't think of it.
What about future AD?
I didn't think of it. I think, what did you say? Future AD of the yeah.
What about?
Because we won't always have one of those. AD of the. We could talk about that. We could add that next season maybe. To be honest with you, I didn't think of it. I think maybe I just kind of put that in with school as one of the criteria or one for school of the year. Maybe I don't know. How about the worst team award? Oh, speaking of which, I did want to say this before we go. Out of the 12 teams, 9 different teams had people win awards. The only 3 teams that didn't have somebody win were Syracuse, Kansas, and Virginia Tech. And I think all of them had at least people with votes. I think Virginia Tech might be the only team, as I'm looking this over, that didn't even have somebody with a single vote.
They're out of the league too, aren't they?
No, Virginia Tech, they're still here.
Oh.
They're still here.
They need the Survivor Award.
Hey, they made it. They were the roller coaster team this season for sure. In case you missed it over the last couple of nights, we talked. We got 10 teams coming back that are the same. 2 teams that are changing to make 12. We had 4 new teams already announced to make 16, and then we announced 2 more last night to make 18 for season 3, and that's where we're going to lock it at. So the 18 teams are there. I'm leaning towards doing 2 conferences of 9, but I like the idea of maybe a 5-5-4-4 and doing the 4 division champs in the playoff again. But we'll talk about that. We'll vote on that. We'll figure it out. And yes, Zach, you guys can be ranked 69th now. So there you go. You should have DeHayton on that team if you're ranked 69th, since he likes to come in 69 minutes early all the time. Thanks again for being here tonight. Thanks for being here all season, being part of the league. I'm looking forward to all the big changes for season 3 and going into season 4. It'll be a good time. It'll be fun. And I will put some more announcements out tomorrow and on Monday. In the meantime, have a great weekend. Thanks for being here. Congrats to all of the AACL Season 2 award winners. And we'll see you when we see you. Peace out.